The Checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.
Hello. Since August 2022, Ms. Hadas Meitzad is an Israeli ambassador to Georgia. But she has been serving as an Israeli diplomat since 2006. Ms. Meitzad served as a chief of staff of the political director of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Jerusalem, Israel, since August 2018. From 2013 to 18, Hadas worked at the Israeli Permanent Mission to the United Nations first as a counselor for the sustainable development, and since 2015 as Minister Counselor for Political and Strategic Affairs and head of the political team. Also, from 2007 to 2009, she headed the public diplomacy section of the Israeli Embassy in Tokyo, Japan. But this is not all. Ms. Meitzad joined the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in 2006 after serving as a captain for 8 years in the Israeli Air Force at the rank of captain. Ms. Meitzad was born and raised in Arad, Israel, and she has one daughter. This is a short biography of Madam Ambassador, who is visiting us today. Madam Ambassador, thanks for visiting us.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
First of all, let me congratulate you for this position. It's a little bit late, congratulations, but still.
Thank you very much, and I'm very, very happy to be here. And I can say, because I've been here for a little bit more than 6 months, that I'm very much enjoying my posting here in Georgia.
Yeah, and I'm sure that you have some kind of worked out a kind of plan that maintains those priorities that you will focus on during these following years on the position of Ambassador of Israel.
Yes. Like every ambassador, the job is to enhance and to deepen the bilateral relation. And I'm happy to say that we are starting from quite a high point because the relation between Georgia and Israel are excellent. I mean, between the countries and also between the people. We are talking about historical bonds. And the embassy, my predecessor, they have been very, very active here in the field of economic growth, tourism, culture, and of course, governmental cooperation. But you asked me what my priorities are. So my priorities are to expand our economic ties between Georgia and Israel. I think that the potential is, we are far from meeting the full potential. I think that this has to be, that this is my priority because of the situations that are taking place in this region, because of what Israel has become to be, and I think that this is where the focus should be with, specific emphasis on innovation, entrepreneurship, and areas that I think that we both can benefit a lot from.
So mostly economy. These are like our main topic as well?
A lot on economy. Of course, on the same side, we are continuing with extensive cultural activity. We are continuing with a very good bilateral and cooperation in multilateral arena. I mean, we'll have to say that there will be a focus on economy, but then again, as an ambassador, everything is important. To have the balance between the different legs is also extremely important for us.
Yeah, and during your first visit with the Prime Minister of Georgia, there were mentioned that trade, tourism, and economy, like in general, were like the main topics of the discussion.
Yes.
So what have you planned in this regard? I mean, like the specific steps you have planned.
So I think that the first thing that we would like to happen as soon as possible in 2023 is a meeting of the Joint Economic Committee. This is a governmental committee that hasn't met for a long time, and this committee will allow both governments, I mean, it's usually combination of a few ministries sitting together at high level and discussing the potential, but also, not less important, the barriers that we have the responsibility as governments to remove in order to allow the business sector to succeed and to enhance its investment or its cooperation. On tourism, I have to say that there is a lot of investment by the Ministry of Tourism of Georgia in order to attract here more and more Israeli tourists. There's going to be a huge delegation in Israel, I believe in March, in one of the conferences that are going to be held in Israel. And again, there is here a Georgian initiative, but we are very much supporting and trying to assist of a company that is going to hold a roadshow of Georgian companies that will be going to Israel for several days, and there will be a small conference, and we are assisting from our side in doing the matching and making sure that the different unions of of exporters and other sectors, that they will be aware of this event, and that we will see many Israeli companies coming, and hopefully we'll see matches come out of it.
Yeah. But we have some of Israeli investors and businesses in Georgia already. Have you already met them? What are their concerns?
I met them, and I have to say that most of them, it's not concerns, it's a lot of interest. People are following the news about the different announcements, the middle corridor and everything that has to do, the MOU about the new cable for the electricity cable, that I think that people are watching with a lot of interest about the development in this region, in the Caucasus, and also considering the implication, taking into account the implication of the war in Ukraine. I will also say that yesterday I actually attended a meeting of the Israeli-Georgia Chamber of Commerce that is now back into full activity after some challenges during the time of the COVID, of the pandemic. And I think it's very important for people to know that, there is an active Chamber of Commerce for everybody who has interest to work to invest here in Georgia, to work in Israel, and they are a very good and professional address for answers, for information, for assistance, alongside, of course, with what we as the embassy are doing on this matter.
And investments from Israel to Georgia in 2021 has been increased if we compare it to 2019 and 2020. We don't have the full numbers from the 2022, but the preliminary data of 9 months shows the upward trend. How do you think, what might be those areas that might be potentially interesting for Israeli ambassadors?
So I think many. I will start by saying that I think that agriculture is still an important sector. Agricultural products are attractive, whether it's, of course, the wine and the food. Only recently, Georgian pumpkin is now being exported to Israel. Yes. And there is much more that we can do, obviously. The second thing is, we have the ongoing tourism and real estate that I believe will continue. Tourism-wise, we're talking about more than 200,000 Israelis who are coming here to Georgia every year and traveling. I think that if you're looking at the top 10 of incoming tourism to Georgia, Israel is the only one among the top 10, which is not a neighboring country, which is not from the region. And this is also, I think, it's not a classical direct investment, but still it's, of course, contributing a lot to the economy here. Film and TV production. Recently, there are more and more Israeli production companies who are coming here to shoot. I think it has to do also with the fact that Ukraine is no longer, or at the moment, is not as available as it used to be. But I'm very happy to learn about more and more, whether it's TV series or movie production that are taking place here in Georgia. So this, I think, is also maybe part of the increase that we are seeing. And as I said, in the field of IT and innovation, this is definitely a field that we need to constantly look for opportunities to bring together business people from both sides to work together and to develop both economies together. Yeah,
sure. Let me ask you about the employment program that has been launched during your predecessor, Mr. Rangidor. So at what stage we are now on these regards, and do we have some numbers already? Do we have some results?
So there are some results. I will have to say that we are not sharing numbers publicly, but yes, there is an agreement between the government of Georgia and Israel, work agreement about nurses that can come and work in Israel. It's an ongoing effort to recruit and to find the people with the right training in order that will fit this agreement. I think that this is a very good opportunity for people in the field of nursing that are looking to work for some time abroad, and I will advise them to look at the website of the Ministry of Health, and they will see all the details there.
So on the contrary, we have the deficit of nurses on the labor market of Georgia.
So here I will say that, I mean, I have a lot of respect, and at the end of the day, of course, I mean, I'm not trying to take Georgian nurses from Georgia.
But Israeli
this is another option. Also, the number that we are talking is not going to change dramatically the whole field of nursing here in Georgia. And this I can understand if at the end of the day there is a deficit here. But this was one of the this was agreed between the two governments as a field in which we can have cooperation and to give people options. Also, it's not forever. We're usually talking about a short period of working and then coming back, and I think that the one who will come back will also come back with additional experience based on their time in Israel.
Yeah, and here I would like to ask you about the statistics of working visas issued by Israeli government for Georgians. What are these numbers?
So again, we are not sharing numbers about visas. It's usually private information, but the system, the mechanism is indeed coming based on an agreement between the government.
But it's increasing, decreasing.
I don't know at the moment. Honestly, I cannot tell you for sure if it's increasing or decreasing. But I will say that it is important that people who are coming to work in Israel will do it legally, and will do it with the right visa and with the right papers. Otherwise, it can have unfortunate implication about the relation. But again, as I said, I will advise everybody who is seeking to maybe go abroad for a little time and to come back to look for the information about how it can be done legally.
Okay. Trade. Let's move to the trade part. By 2030, the number of countries with which Georgia will have free trade agreements will increase by 7. This is like the stated from the side of Georgian government, and Israel is among them. So, do you have any any tangible steps or I don't know plans in this regards? I mean, with the negotiations with Georgian government.
So the first step should be the meeting of the joint committee. This should be the first step. This is for us the best platform. It brings together Ministry of Economy, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, together with, if decided, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Tourism. It depends on the field that both governments identify as priority for cooperation. And this, I think, is the first step in order for us to fully understand what is the current situation and where the potential lies.
Okay, and when I was seeing the statistics of trade between Israel and Georgia, honey is one of the not main product, but for Georgian honey, Israeli is one of the main market. So why Israeli people are interested in Georgian honey, and how can we increase these statistics?
I can imagine they're interested because they realize the quality of the Georgian honey, and this is what it takes. And now, and usually, once one company is entering the Israeli market, and people understand that it's good and they appreciate the quality, then other importers are seeking to of course, enlarge it. I personally received some requests from one of the honey producers in Israel that was asking how they can get in touch with the honey producers in Georgia in order to start import to Israel some more honey. I'm happy that it's happening. We will do what we can in order to assist the honey producers in Georgia who are interested in finding, in having contact the Israeli market. And I think that the explanation for it is just when you have good product, it sells itself.
What other products might be interesting, or maybe services might be interesting for Israeli market, I mean, to export from Georgia?
So I'm going back to this exhibition, to this roadshow of Georgian business companies that is going to take place in the coming weeks. And they, again, together with the Chamber of Commerce that is active in Israel. For me, it will be interesting to see because they're coming with a variety of companies from food products, healthy food products, until startups in IT. And I think that this will be interesting to see what are the, which companies are more attractive to the Israeli market. Because I think, again, we have the classic one, food products, wine, Georgian wine, obviously. You mentioned honey, but I'm interested to see in what are the other companies that will attract the attention of the average Israeli importer.
Okay, and my final question at this moment will be related to your plans only for 2023. So what are your goals as an ambassador to reach during this whole year?
So my goal, I think that I pretty much laid them out throughout the entire interview. I think you can guess that it has a lot to do with finding ways to enhance economic ties. Alongside with, as I said, I mean, Georgia is now a member at the UN, at the Human Rights Council in Geneva. It's important for us to work together to maintain and to enhance a very good cooperation between the government on various issues. So I'm not going to go into all the details because it will be quite long, but I will say, if you're going back to the economic sphere, that for me also part of being new ambassador to Georgia, 23 is also about learning better the market here, the opportunities that are relevant to Israeli investors and for Israeli companies in order to be able to report back to the relevant organs in Israel about what is happening here and where do we see the potential to enhance and to increase. So I am going to work, but I also have a lot of learning to do in the coming year.
Wish you big success.
Thank you very much.
That would be really great for Georgia as well. And thanks for visiting us, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for giving me this platform and the option to discuss about embassy activity in the economic sphere. Thank you very much.
The Checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.